Hello and welcome. My name is Attorney LaConya Murray. I am the owner and founder of Off the Mark IP Solutions, where we help clients throughout the United States with trademarks, copyright, patents, and business development solutions. Thank you for joining me this Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, depending on where you are. Just wanted to come on and talk about some things that are going on in pop culture. People keep sending me these different articles, and so I want to talk about that. We are here today because last week someone sent me an article, and this morning I woke up and someone else has sent me the same article. So I said, you know what, this is something that people want to know about. They have questions about, and if you follow me for any amount of time, one of my favorite things is to use real world examples to explain trademarks and copyrights and even patents. That's what Attorney Baker will do when the issue arises. But today we're talking about trademarks. And so if you see the caption, don't be alarmed, but WTF, that's what they're, WTF, LOL, FML, and NBD. And I will be honest with you, I had no clue what NBD meant. But those are all trademarks that Procter and Gamble have filed. Those are all marks that Procter and Gamble have filed trademark applications for. And they've started filing these applications around end of July. So end of July, beginning of August, they filed several different trademarks. And so we're going to talk about that. So we have FML, like I said. We have WTF, LOL, and NBD. NBD. No big deal. That's what it stands for, no big deal. And I did not know that until I started doing my research. All trademarks that Procter and Gamble have attempted to register, and I said attempt because each and every one of those trademarks have received an office action. So what we're going to do is back up really quick because I think it's really important. Now is really important that you understand what trademarks do and what they protect. So trademarks protect those things. Protect brand identifiers, those things that identify the source of a good or a service. In order to be classified as a mark, as a trademark, when someone sees your mark, and they must associate it with a good or a service. If they see this mark and they don't associate it with a good or a service, if it's not associated with a good or a service, then it's not a trademark. And that's one of the things that you hear me say all the time about jumping on fads when it comes to trademarks and trying to build brands around catchy gimmicks that are really popular. Is that the reason you don't want to do that is because when people think of whatever that popular phrase is, they don't think of you. And if they're not thinking of you, then you're not really building a brand. That's the whole thing about this brand. So if they're not thinking about you, then when they see it, they're not thinking of what you provide. And if they're not thinking about what you provide, then whatever it is that you're trying to build a brand around is not being used as a trademark. And that's something very similar to what's going on right now with Procter & Gamble. And I will tell you a little bit about what they're doing. What I noticed is they're all in the same class, and that class has to do with dishwashing detergent, air fresheners, and cleaning. So I don't know if they're trying to make cleaning more hip and more fun. I don't know, but I do know that all those trademarks are related to that. And I don't know if they're going to have like an overall brand, and then these might be just products under that, or maybe some part of some type of marketing employee. We don't know that and the reason we don't know that is because the application they filed is actually an intent to use application. And what an intent to use application is, it simply says that I'm not using this mark in commerce now, but I have a bona fide intent to use it in the future. And so what that does is allow USPTO to actually process the application, and it gives the applicant priority over someone who might file after them, which is really important because here is first to use, not first to file. And if you're not using it, if you're not using the mark, then someone else beats you to using it while you're still in the planning phases, you can miss out. You can lose your mark. And so they filed an intent to use application for every single one of their marks. Now, like I said before, every single one of their marks received an office action. And this is the thing that's kind of weird about the office action. I'm not going to say weird. So they filed 4 trademark applications. 3 of the 4 trademark applications were examined by the same examining attorney. So what happens in the process is after you file your application, it sits in the queue for 3 months. It just sits there chilling until it's assigned to an examining attorney. And at that time, the examining attorney is going to take a look at it and see if there's any problems with your application. One of the main things they're looking for is if there's any likelihood of confusion with another mark, which was one of these. They actually found a likelihood of confusion with the FML mark. The FML, they said, was a likelihood of confusion with a mark that was already registered under cosmetics. And so that goes into another issue. So some people think, well, cosmetics is not the same as dishwashing detergent. Why is there a likelihood of confusion? Well, what they're looking for are not just the same class, but also related class. So you have same and related, which is good. As the applicant and the trademark owner, I think that is really good, because what that does is allow you to prevent other people from using your mark, and not just in what you're doing, but anything that might be related to what you're doing, so that it doesn't cause confusion. That's cool. So the other thing that is going on with these office actions is only 2 of the 4 received an office action for significance of the mark. Significance of the mark. So significance of the mark, I want you to remember that. Significance of the mark. What the USPTO examiner is asking, what's the deal with this mark? Does it have some type of relevance? Is it relevant to your particular industry? Is it relevant to your geographical location? Or in this case, does it stand for something? Does it stand for something? So the 2 that she gave the significant the mark to was NBD, which is how I found out what NBD means. What is it again? Oh yeah, no big deal. Gosh, I don't know why I can't remember that. So NBD, and then the other one was LOL, which is laugh out loud. She was like, okay, so does this mean anything? And that's really great for her to make the observation, because again, what she's trying to find out is, are you trying to use these popular terms and trademark them? Because if you are, we might have an issue, because no one's going to think LOL and think Procter and Gamble. Nobody's going to think NBD and think Procter and Gamble. Like, we have some issues going on here. And so that was really good. But the thing is, she only did it for 2 of the 4 marks. She didn't do it for FML or WTF. And let me see. Yeah, so that's something that we want to keep an eye out. So here's the thing: the office actions were issued around the end of July, beginning of August. And when I misspoke earlier when I said they filed the applications just now, they actually filed the applications back in April. These office actions are just now being issued between end of July and August. So what that means for Procter and Gamble is they have 6 months to respond. They have 6 months to respond. If they do not respond, then their application will be abandoned. So we have to keep an eye out on these, just to see what they're going to do with them for the next 6 months. Very interesting. So anybody who's like, well, what does that mean if they get a trademark? I'll tell you what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that you can no longer say WTF or LOL when you're texting or talking or anything of that nature. But what it does mean is that if they are successful in registering this, is that you will not be able to build a similar brand to them. Meaning that if you decided you wanted to get into household products, you wouldn't be able to use WTF, LOL, NBD on your products. That's what that means. That it's not going to prevent us from LOL and out and WTF and all those things. So you don't have to worry about that. I just think my concern is the fact that they're trying to trademark this and build a brand around it, because eventually what can happen with brands is that they do get so big that they can exclude others who aren't even in their same or related field, just because they're so popular and they don't want their brand to be diluted. So this is something that we need to watch and take a look for.